Welcome to the Tine Talk Podcast, sponsored by Rack Fuel, premium deer nutrition. Fuel your herd.
All right, Tine Talk, episode 3. We don't have Jake Eid with us here today, and we don't have a video either because he's got the video camera down in Iowa. And rumor on the street is he laid down some pretty cool footage. Night number 1, he got in there about 2 hours before dark and had a pretty decent night. Shout out to Iowa.
You could probably ask him about his little emergency stop or something like that.
Yeah, we'll leave that off the air.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, him and Damon were maybe going to come on and talk about Damon's recent kill, but they both got to be up pretty early tomorrow to get back in there.
I think the long drive down to Iowa kind of wore Jake out today is my guess, because it's not like him to pass up the podcast, but
yeah,
I've made that drive enough times in my life where I know it's long and straight. And
That's a long drive.
yeah, but
well, he's probably got hunting on his mind. Not podcast right now.
Yeah,
I'd tell you one thing though: when you're going hunting, the ride down there is a lot shorter than the ride home.
Yeah,
but
yep, that's true.
But yeah, the buck he saw tonight, I mean, just based on pictures, looked to be a 5-6-year-old deer.
Yeah. He said he was
Damon,
playing it on the low end. He said 4.5, yeah.
Damon thought older, but
yeah,
it's hard to say down there. I mean, they don't have the pressure that we're used to up in Wisconsin. That's one reason they get big, and
yeah,
it's
exactly.
hard to say
what he is.
Yeah.
We don't get many, 6-plus-year-old deer here in Wisconsin, but just recently,
Yeah.
good buddy of ours, Colton, ended up killing the one that I was after. Really for, I would say, the last year and a half. Not to bore you guys, I'll go into the story and try to get it as good as I could. So first deer, the deer showed up as what I believed was a 3.5-year-old. Wasn't going to kill him, but right away knew he had genetics to be, heck of a good deer. I was sitting in a pond hunting a different buck that morning, and I seen him coming from below me, and he's coming up the trail. I'm like, perfect. I'm going to get my video camera out, get some good film. He'll come right into the pond. Awesome, right? So no, he gets about 50 yards, ends up stopping. I'm like, what's he doing? And then sure enough, he circles right downwind, comes in on the downwind side of the pond as a 3.5. And he did get to 20 yards, but if I wanted to kill him that day, I don't think I could have, because he was facing to me when he ended up busting me and taking off. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, are you kidding me? As a 3.5, you're pulling stuff like that? I'm gonna have to dig deep in my bag of Trix to kill you one day. So that's how Trix, the name, stuck.
Yeah.
The next year he showed up as a 4.5-year-old. But that year I had a different deer that was actually would have probably grossed boon that the neighbors killed maybe 2 miles away, that I was 100% honed in on him. So once he got killed, I didn't have it in me to go kill a 4.5-year-old that was, a fair amount smaller than him too. Granted, he was still a nice deer, and actually did walk by Colton that year, and Colton ended up missing him at 40 yards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So again, gets lucky. We fast forward to 2022, and he shows up, and he's probably wearing his best rack ever. Right? I think he's probably a high 160s type deer then, possibly 170 fully put together. I was hunting him, but he was on camera regularly, but mostly at night, which we've all had those situations. Do I go hunt him, or do I stay the hell out of there till he's daylight? Mm-hmm. What do you do? And then about that time, as I'm, thinking through my head here, when am I going to hunt this deer? The neighbor actually sees him go, a neighbor Corey, at the property I can hunt. He sees him go into his little patch, and he's got 17 acres there, and actually doesn't have a picture of the deer. He's seen him with his eyes before he ever got a picture of him.
Yep.
Which is nowadays unheard of. Any cameras, cell cameras, you name it, that are out there. He's like, awesome guy, let me know right away. He's like, hey, I got some intel on Trix. I saw him go into my my little piece, which for one, I was happy. For two, I was like, dang it, he's not he's not on where I can kill him, but
Yeah.
because he was a homeboy for sure.
Just across the road, yeah.
And it wasn't a couple nights later, he stayed consistent on Corey's. And Corey, he's a big archery guy too. That's where I first met him, is shooting bow league. He had an issue with, he'd tell the story probably better than I would, but he had an issue with his bow, shooting 40 yards the night before. So he's like, man, I don't have time to go to Shields during season. Who does? And ended up taking his wife's crossbow for just that night. I believe it was the only night he's hunted with it. It must have been because he wasn't really sure how to shoot it, turns out. So Trix comes in, he's licking on his licking vine. I mean, picture perfect. Doesn't get any better. And then he gets him in crosshairs on the chest, pulls the trigger, and nothing happens. So he's like,
click.
He's like, what am I going to do here? He said he put it down. He tried to mess with the trigger a little bit and make sure it was ready to go, make sure it was on fire, pulls it up again, and nothing. So puts it, down, trying to figure out what's going on. And by this time, I mean, this is a minute or two has gone by. He's up to 40 yards. But, he gives it the third try and ends up having to stop him pretty aggressively to the point where he's probably going to spook him once he knows, what's up. And the crossbow still never shot. So Trix somehow got lucky. I think Corey, the end story of that was didn't have it cranked back all the way, which is a crossbow problem I'm not sure of.
Unaware of it.
No idea.
You guys? Yeah,
Nope.
Good for you guys. But so Trix got lucky. He lived there, and Corey called me that night, and don't get me wrong, I'm like, yeah, shoot, Corey, that sucks. But in the back of my head, I'm like, dang it, he's still alive. Let's go.
Yep.
Still in the game. But and then it was 2 days later, and I'm about to go hunting that. I actually planned on hunting that next night, and I get a picture, and he broke off probably anywhere between 20 to 25 inches of horn.
A whole
Part of his
beam,
main,
pretty
a
much,
whole
yeah.
beam, yeah. Which, if you look at the pictures, Colton posted, and I don't know if Colton Berg, if you guys got him on Facebook, you can see what he kind of turned into.
Yep.
He turned a little bit non-typical going into year 5 there. Which,
Yeah.
what do you? What's your opinion on that, Mitch? Was it? It couldn't have been an injury. I don't know anybody that shot him.
Yeah. I don't think it was an injury at all because he was so typical and so beautiful the year before. Had to have been shedded bad.
Yeah.
A couple of years in a row.
Yeah. Which
Sucks.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. And thank God, and Colton shot him this year. Which even when I looked at the pedicle there, it did look a little quirky,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It just seemed like it was more like embedded than
yeah.
the other side.
Yeah.
No, I think
Like you couldn't even see the base of the pedicle hardly.
Yeah.
No, I think he shed extremely hard there, and
That has to hurt.
can you imagine?
Dang.
Yeah. But so he breaks off 20, 25 inches of horn, and then of course we got to have the conversation of shit. This is our number one hitless buck, and now he just he's a shadow of what he would have been, and not only that, he's been pretty typical going up until this year. So I'm thinking, hey, if he makes it, he's going to straighten out for one.
Yep.
2, make that 5 to 6 jump where could be
Never know what
30
could happen, yeah.
inches on a solid winter. This year's got to make it. I'm like, I'm not going to kill him if you don't kill him. If you're going to kill him, maybe I'll still hunt him. Corey being he's killed some good deer. He wants to kill that kind of next level type of deer like we all do, and
Yeah.
he was 100% on board with it, which I kudos to him, because he's only got 17 acres there that he, don't get me wrong, he kind of decked out for hunting, and he's got a hell of a honey hole there now, if you ask me.
Yeah,
but he was right on board. He said, okay, let's get this thing the next year. Which, hey, that's just a couple of guys having a conversation to actually have it happen, have them slip through gun season, the Orange Army.
It's the kind of neighbors you want all around you.
All the luck though that still goes into it, there to get him to that age. Once I realized he made it, I was super happy. I'm like, if I could just get a picture of him, he's gonna be, this amazing deer. And the first pictures rolled in 2023 here, and he didn't throw on the everything I thought he would. Don't get me wrong, he actually was more quirky on the bad side, but mean, either way, he was number one on the hit list. I've never had a deer. Age is the big one. In history, I mean,
so much history.
The deer that you've had, any listeners out there probably
you filmed them during the summer.
I filmed them during the summer, and I actually had an encounter with them once, or twice then, both on camera. I saw them a different time checking a camera. 21. I mean, just the history with them is what made it kind of the biggest target and the biggest, most meaningful deer that I knew I was going to chase going into this year.
Mm-hmm. And
oddly enough, once he, I'll rewind to 2022 here. So once he busted off and I quit hunting him, my whole idea was I'm going to stay out of there, make him feel safe on that pond where I was probably going to kill him, that whole area. And, he's going to live come 2023. If he does make it, he'll be right back there. Mm-hmm. Did not happen. I mean, July, August, he was fairly frequent, or early August, I should say, because August 2nd, after that day, it was 2 months with no picture. I wasn't talking to Colton every day then, and I almost questioned if he was even alive.
Yeah, I didn't even think he was alive anymore.
It's kind of odd. I mean, it's not out of the norm to just completely change, but to just completely abandon a spot over how many years that he's been consistent on.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And to just change.
And how many times have you heard people, once they get to that age, their home core
exactly
shrinks too.
It's just like the buck I shot in 18 Curly, his home area just on ours. I mean, it couldn't have been more than half a mile. I mean, we had so many pictures on every camera. So when Trix gets to this age, it's like all of a sudden you don't get a picture for 2 months.
That's why I thought he was dead. I was like, what is going on?
I know.
Where did he go?
And as far as the home range thing, part of it is still proved to be true, but he was out also on Colton's, and Colton's got a little piece there combined they got about 46 acres of river bottom, and he was there from 2, 3, 4 all the way on, but apparently that was more his home. As much pictures as I was getting in 22, he was still more prevalent to that little piece of river bottom and ditch than he was anywhere where I was able to hunt him.
Yeah, but the amount of times you had him in daylight at that pond though
was crazy.
Was
crazy. But the only thing I will say was a lot of it was during the rut, but he was so consistent up there. I'm like, kid, I mean,
that was around now too, isn't it?
Right now,
late October.
Yeah, late October. I don't know, could be wrong. I feel like I could have went in there and had a great opportunity to kill him. I think it was the 29th, 31st, November 1st, all during daylight, all.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, you could even get Colton on here to ask about his pictures in the years past. But he was sharing pictures with us, and the amount of daylight pictures he had of Trix this year down there was, it was insane compared to when you say last year you had him in daylight at the pond a lot.
For a week,
So it's I wonder if Colton in years past, if he's been daylight down on his piece as much as this year, because it just seemed like this year it was holy cow. I mean, this deer's just, he's got a death sentence.
Yeah. Anybody listening to Colton compared to where I had been
this
hunting
guy
this
on
deer,
right now.
My good friend Quinn's, it's probably no more than, it's about a half mile, a little less than a half mile. Oh, it's for sure. I bet it's closer to a quarter mile west of where I'm at there. And it's, like I said, it's that close, but the deer was living right there. And for 2 months, I thought he was possibly rest in peace, dead. We were just about to start going for a walk here. I'm like, because of course, and you start overthinking things. Yeah, I'm like, the one day I checked cameras or was replacing my batteries, I'm pretty sure I saw some buzzards in the air. So now I'm restless nights, and those restless nights aren't supposed to start until October, November, and here we are in August, and I'm having these. But so no, needless to say, I did get a couple of pictures of him about the week before he got killed. There, one daylight, photo ever this year. So, or during hunting season, should say. But he loved that little piece of river bottom, and Colton finally came back from where he was working out west and was able to seal the deal. So kudos to him. Kudos. It's not a lot there. It's a little, it's 40 acres, but when when the cards are aligned, you can kill a 6-year-old buck on.
They put some work into there.
Yeah, all those box elders on the other side by the highway.
They did.
So I'd like to get him on here, just talk about his little process.
I know the whole hinge cutting thing. I've noticed myself because anybody can see that from the road. I mean, it sure did thicken up that other side.
We've tried it too the past how many years, but it definitely works. I mean, if you get the right trees and cut them correctly, I mean, you can see all those new sprouts coming off the bases and clear out that canopy a little bit. But that's without question a really good thing to do. I know Corey, who I had talked about earlier, he's got he hinge cut a lot of his property there too. So but 6.5-year-old deer, they don't get that old very often around here. I know that anywhere really, but this part of the state, can sound like a broken record, maybe complaining, but it's with the pressure and stuff, it just doesn't happen to get. I mean, how he didn't straighten out. I mean, it sucks, but I mean, it's just kind of more to the story. I mean, you get such a long story, and all of a sudden you throw a little wrench in there, and builds all that character. I mean,
I'll still take this over killing him last year, because last year if he gets killed out of forever, took it to my grave and said, hey, if that deer would have made it, he would have straightened out and been a 180-inch buck, but didn't happen. But like I said, awesome story, fun time. Got to see him right after he got killed. Got to enjoy a couple of beers over a tailgate, which we talked about maybe an earlier podcast, but they don't get a lot better than that. And even when it's a deer that you've chased, when it was killed the right way, and good dude got him. It was
good buddy. He makes the trip back. Yeah,
it was great.
Exactly.
You gonna try giving Colton a call?
Yes, sir.
Oh yes.
Ian, we're on the topic.
Colton Berg on the line.
What's up?
Yo,
we got our first caller on the Tine Talk podcast. This is Colton out of Wisconsin.
No, out of California.
Now. Oh, change of address?
No, I didn't change no address yet.
Colton, how's it feel?
He changed his address, changed who he's voting for. He's a California guy now.
No way.
Have you sobered up yet after knocking down this big buck?
Yeah, I have. In fact, I got him on a Monday. Nobody wanted to hang out.
I get that. Doesn't help that your beer selection was not the best after you kill him, I will say.
Yeah, that was absolutely terrible.
You weren't planning on killing a big one that night or something.
A couple beers from 2021 on the line.
Yeah,
they were still good though. Like I said,
not too bad.
Before we took pictures, we stopped at in Elma because I was gonna go pick up some like fake eyes or whatever to use.
Yeah.
And the guy never called me back or didn't answer, so we went to Quick Trip and I got some gas and he picked up 30 rack of bush light.
Hell yeah. So hey, we were just talking a little bit about obviously your little piece of river bottoms and the ditches you got yourself there too. You did some hinge cutting to improve it. Obviously that doesn't hurt your game ever or what you're doing, but what do you think kept Trix down on your bottoms there this year? Your little ditch. I mean, it's not a lot of land. It doesn't tie into a great bluff ridge area. It's not what everybody dreams of. You'd be the first to say to that. But 5-6-year-old buck said, "Hey, I absolutely love this spot. I want to call it home." Just you want to touch on that a little bit?
Honestly, based on the pictures that my dad was sending me from the trail cams. I think that he was betting on the bottoms, and I sent him the call, and he agreed. And we both thought that he was betting on the bottoms because he would go there. I think, he would be going into the bottoms in the morning, like into the bottoms, and then in the afternoon and at night, he would be heading towards cliffs. And then he would be gone for probably a day or two. So, But I don't know, maybe, I'm guessing, you don't get them every time on camera, so you might be betting down there or up on cliffs, you never know. But I for sure think he was betting on the bottoms for most of the year anyway.
Yeah, I would say so. And like I was asking these guys, you see these deer change their habits sometimes, but in years past, have you ever had that many daylight pictures of Trix compared to this year?
No, that was the most 100% like daylight.
Okay.
That's crazy. And that's huge getting daylight pictures of it. We've all had those mega giant, or stud buck, whatever it is, during middle of the night, during the rut or something. And you sit on that deer for 2 weeks when realistically, he's probably 2 miles away.
I mean, this guy's sending me daylight pictures every 3 days, and I was like, you better get on the first flight back to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I remember that. My dad sent me them, and I would send them right to you, Jake and Cole, and then like it was almost every 3 days, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get back.
Yeah,
I need to get back.
Way to stay cool though, and
just
kind of not rush it and run in there and
let's talk about the night you killed him.
Yeah, I played the wind really good too. Like the stand was, river stand was perfect for the wind. Yeah. I mean, I hunted that stand like for 3 nights that I hunted, so the wind was perfect. And
you got a little south wind that night, didn't you?
Yeah, it was actually
southwest.
Yeah, it's going kind of right up the river, kind of.
Southwest. Yeah, that's the same wind I needed to hunt my food plot about 300-400 yards from you.
Yeah.
So I know I got the text that you got him and actually crawled out of my tree about 5:45.
Yeah.
This year in particular, it was him or nothing on that piece of ground. So
yeah.
So what day was this? This was the 30th. Was he with a doe at all?
No, actually, when I was sitting there, I actually texted my dad because I was like, "Is there any deer in the food plot?" I didn't see any deer for a while because I got back in the stand that afternoon at like 3:20. I think I got back in the stand because I left my bow there from the morning. I just left it in the tree, and so that way I had to go back for sure. So.
Did you see any deer in the morning?
Yeah, I seen quite a few in the morning. But that afternoon, I seen probably 2 bucks before Trix, and then like there was like an hour stretch there where I didn't see anything, and then right around 5, I think the camera picture was 5:17, and I looked over and I seen him at 40 yards, and he was coming straight up the river towards me. And luckily, there's like enough cover there where you can grab your bow and get ready and everything. But he was coming right towards me, and I was like, well, he was at 20 yards, and I decided to draw back because he was still coming. And I thought he was going to take a trail and just turn broadside perfect at 20 yards, and was like, all right. So I was full draw, and then he proceeded to come even closer, like 10 yards, and was all of a sudden he was staring right at me, looked up right at me, and his chest was right at me, and I'm full draw, and I'm like, well, do I center punch him? Because I've seen guys do it, but decided to wait a second or two, and he got a little nervous, and then he just stepped back, and he was quartering to me, and I got him right behind the shoulder and didn't get a pass through, but it was really, really close, and he stumbled right after I shot him, and then got up, ran along the river, but as he was running along the river, I seen the arrow sticking out of him, and it was just pouring blood, so I knew he wasn't going too far.
Yep.
Hammered.
Yeah, which we tracked him, and I don't even think he went 100 yards.
No, I don't think so either.
A lot of the big sports guys would say you stumped the Schwab, but I'll say you tricked the Trix.
Yeah.
That was.
I gotta give a shout out to Rage Broadheads because they put a hurting on him. Pretty good.
There you go.
The old hypodermics too. Before the no collar even.
They did.
Yep.
That thing. Oh my God! How you measured that hole on it too? What was it?
Yeah, it was 3.5 inches wide.
Oh my God!
Obviously, there's some angle there, but that's insane. Regardless, that's
When I took the hide to the taxidermist this morning, he's like, "Where'd you hit him?" And then I was like, "Oh, the hole's here." I caped around it, and he looked at the hole. He's like, instantly, he's like, "Rage, huh?"
Shout out Jack Kohler.
There's so many people give Rage Broadheads a bad rep.
They got such a mixed review.
Good friend of ours, Ted Marm, too. He hates them.
It's all because of those
anybody who hunts with me, I'll hardly let them even shoot those things. They will cost you a deer. You just wait. They haven't cost you one, that's fine yet, but you just wait. They'll cost you a deer. I'm like,
put them on.
A guy like him knows enough. I still feel bad about using them half the time after that.
They definitely might. They might cost a deer eventually, but until it does, then I'm going to keep using them.
Exactly.
It's tough. Just hope the one it does cost you is your early season doe that you're trying to fill the freezer with, and not
something like that.
Exactly.
Deer the caliber of Trix himself. But
I think Colton's didn't bleed like a ton, but once we got up to him, there was so much blood on his hide. Like it was just
And like we picked up the blood right away and tracked for what? Probably 40 yards consistently. And then it hit that one spot and we were like, uh-oh.
Where'd he go?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
kind of all spread out a little bit.
Yeah. And someone stumbled upon some like
I picked some up probably 5-10 yards up from the last spot. Yeah. And then it was probably, what, 20 yards after that?
Yeah.
I mean.
Jake, I think I got it on my GoPro, too. He's like, I see a belly. Like, just so soft.
Guys, I think he's right here.
Dude, be excited, dude. We just found his deer.
You guys do some did you guys, I wasn't with in the track job. Did you guys do some high-fiving when you got to him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Couple fist bumps, couple hooty hoo.
I couldn't believe how big his bases were when I walked up to him. I was like, holy cow!
Yeah, I mean that's honestly that's probably for sure the oldest deer you've ever you or your dad's ever gotten down there. Not killed the one thing, but probably even pictures of. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
It's so much fun having them get that age.
Dang.
It just doesn't happen around. So when it does, it's super cool.
It's a big old body too on him.
Cool.
Just
Shout out Colton Berg laying the smackdown on a 6.5-year-old beast.
Hell yeah.
Yep. We're gonna see. Hopefully Jack gets the teeth back or whenever they come back or whatever with the age. So hopefully it's accurate.
Yeah. See if he's 5 or 6.
For one thing, he's 5.5 at the absolute youngest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last year his body looked huge.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean 6.5 as well. Last year when I wanted him to make it
35s.
I tried to convince everybody he was a 4.5 because I wanted him to, hey man, it's gonna be 30 inches next year.
Yeah.
Don't shoot this thing. He's he's 25 inches. Do not. And even Quinn, he owns the land that I get to hunt on, and he hasn't shot a lot of big deer, but he knew what this one was, kind of to me and to us, and he even himself was like, I'm not going to shoot Trix, and even told people not to shoot him. I know, so I'm like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So shout out to him. And who knows? I don't think it made a difference in the long run because he didn't see him anyways. But say he did. I mean, it just takes one guy. You just don't know. It's So that was cool. He gets to see what happened. And he didn't grow into probably, Colton, would you agree? He didn't grow into what me or you thought he would.
No, absolutely. I thought he would for sure grow that extra horn on that side.
Yeah, and maybe be even more typical like he was as a 4.5, but he didn't. Not taking anything away from it because he's an old buck. And don't get me wrong, he was number one on my hit list this year. There was deer that scored a little better than him, but didn't have the history, didn't have the age. Nothing would have felt, cooler than to kill a 6.5-year-old buck that you've had encounters with, years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang.
So,
and just bring up, Colton, the cool thing about the dates when you shot him.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. So October 30th on 2021, we believe he was 4.5 years old, and he had both normal sides that year. And he was pretty big because I remember he was at I had probably 4 or 5 does around me. They came from a separate way, and then I was still sitting down, there was nothing behind them at all. So I was checking with the binos, nothing behind them, and they were does and fawns. Then all of a sudden I see something flash through the brush, probably at 40, 50 yards, coming from a different way, and it was Trix sneaking his way in. Then he started nudging them, and I was like, well, I got to start doing something, try and get my bow and everything. So I ended up, there was a doe that was probably 5-10 yards away from me, and he was pushing them around and nudging them all at 30, 40 yards. And I tried grabbing my bow real slow, and this doe at 5 yards busted me. And she didn't blow or anything. She just took off, and then all of them kind of scattered a little bit. And then he stood at I think it was 40 yards. And then I used my 50-yard pin and I shot right over his back.
Over him. I knew you missed him. I didn't know you shot over him.
Yeah. I didn't know that he was, I thought he got my pins messed up. I'm almost positive on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 2 years to the day.
Yeah. Same exact day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 2 years to the day in the exact same stand and in the afternoon too. Because them camera pictures, that I got of him that night was at 5:45, and I shot him at right around 5:20. So dang near the same
Oh
time.
my God. Dang.
How pissed were you when you missed him?
I was pretty upset. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, well, there goes that chance on that deer. Like he's gone forever.
He was a beautiful 4.5-year-old or 3.5-year-old, whatever he was that year, but he was so nice.
You could tell he had the genetics to do something, and then granted he didn't. Once he grew one great side, but he was a pretty deer.
This year it was like he grew the side on his left side that he grew before or after he got busted off, and that was it.
Yeah,
which is wild.
Just so it's like that's why we passed you up last year. Exactly. Once you broke it off,
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna grow more mass. Screw it.
I love mass.
Oh
that's the best.
It is cool. You don't see that very often.
Did you?
I'm kind of curious on what he's gonna score. I'm just curious,
Yeah. Did you measure his bases or anything? Did Jack?
I didn't measure anything. No. Jake or Jack didn't either. No.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah. Shit.
And he won't. I mean, it's all on how you score him. Because if you're gonna score him realistically this year by the book, I don't think he's gonna score.
Well, and that's what we were talking about when he got back. I was like, I wouldn't even know how to score him.
What I would have liked to done is score his good side without a broken 3.
Yeah.
And give him a 16, 18-inch spread, whatever he roughly would have been. I think probably closer to 18, and then double it. If you double that with the mass on the beams and all things considered, I mean,
well, we're
the
looking
mass
right
you just
here.
don't see. He's probably going to go boon. I mean,
Mr. Funky over there. I think I scored him at 130 something.
Just the way he is, that goofy side.
Yeah, and I don't think his bases were big, but I don't know if they were as big.
He doesn't look as massive as Trix.
No, but Trix's Tine it's going to hurt him a little bit. That's 10 inches right there.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna. Did you figure out what you were gonna do with his rack? Were you gonna take it to Shane right away, or what were you gonna do?
Yeah, I texted Shane, and I believe I just told him I'll text him when Jack's done with him.
Yep.
Because he said he's 6 months out, so I'll probably just hopefully Jack gets him done within 6 months, and all right, even if it takes a little longer, that's all right. And then I can just take him to Shane. Yep. Hopefully he can fix those tines up.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
And then gotta get that pedestal mount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make one for me too, man.
They call it the full creep mount on the half pedestal. So.
Oh yeah.
The full creep.
Because he was staring right at me, so I was like, well.
Question for you, Colton. Did you have any pictures? I'm scrolling back here as we speak on my phone, because when he was most killable ever for me was in 2022. So I had daylight on the 28th, daylight on the 29th, daylight on the 31st. You killed him on the 30th. And you missed him on the 30th. Did you happen to have pictures of last year on the 30th at all? Have you checked or looked at anything like that? Because looks like I got 28, 29, 31st. Yeah, I'm missing the 30th on all my pictures of him. So just curious.
Last year, let me look on. I got an album here of Trix.
Yeah, he just put all the pictures into an album.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm curious.
You're
missing the 30th of last year.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, which that's when he was like, "Hey, come kill me," type attitude. But knowing him, I would have went and sat there, and he would have circled downwind or busted me getting in, one of the two. But there's a reason he lived that age. He's not dumb. He's had. I mean, anybody who hunts around our area, Buffalo County, knows what the woods looks like opening weekend, and how he escaped all the hunters that didn't even. I mean, a lot of the guys aren't even after a big buck. I mean, obviously a big buck is cool, but hey, I want to fill my freezer. It's anything with horns, I'll take it. And he found a way to make it through. We're thinking 5-6 gun seasons if you really break it down. It's so much. It's cool, and that's what makes him.
You probably
what
just
he
saw
is.
Quinn walk out in that jumpsuit, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go lay right here for a while."
Yeah, our buddy, good friend of ours, Quinn. He's about 6'4". He tries to fit in a jumpsuit of his dad's. It's about 6 foot, I think, is what the whole story is on that. He may correct me, but
you gotta walk the bottoms in that.
Yeah, walk the bombs.
Yeah, you see him in that when we're doing our deer drives that day. It's like, well, I guess you planned on driving the river bottoms today. That's where Trix died, but I don't think his bottom of his pants legs are gonna get wet.
You see what Zach said about him shooting that buck? About Colton shooting
Colton?
it?
No,
like you shoot him for my stand or what?
yeah. So just quick. So remember that when I sat with you when we were doing that quick drive when Eric shot that doe before it got to us.
I remember that.
That's the stand you killed him out of, right?
Yes, correct.
Right on the river. Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
Damn.
But I was looking back through pictures here, and 2022, you had a lot more pictures of him, and he was up on cliffs a lot more than because I can't remember. So I got him on the 19th of October, and he's heading towards cliffs. That year, he already broke off his side.
Yeah.
And actually, the next picture I got of him, I think it's November 12th.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually on the other side of the river in the food plot.
I'm going to blame Quinn. I think Quinn shot a doe sitting with Eric on sometime during gun season. That was probably Trix's number one girlfriend. And she was gone, and he said, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I got a side girl down in the river.
Down in the swamp. Get up
down
in the swamp.
So damn it, Quinn. Thanks for letting me hunt, but god damn it, you cost me that one. No, that's just it's super cool, man. Like I said.
I think 11, 12, 11, 16, 11, 17, and then the next picture I got of him is December 2nd. So he made it through gun season then.
Damn.
Okay.
Well, you had a picture of him last year in like January or February, didn't you? With like one side on.
Yep.
That's
pretty sure.
Too.
Those sheds are buried in the swamp.
Dude.
Bottom of the river.
Colton, do you remember when we T-zone hunted actually, and we drove Quinn's or Rory's there at the time, and we chased 3 bucks right by Tye.
Oh yeah, and Jake.
We're trying to kill some does, and all we chased out were bucks.
It was like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I went and checked. I checked my camera then. That was before I had a cell camera, I believe, in there. And Trix was in there all the time. I mean, up until the day we chased him out. So I'm sure that Trix was one of those deer that ran by those guys that day, which is just another cool part of the story, which if it was the right guy, or you could say the wrong guy, depends on what side of the story you're on. Hunting there, and we weren't T-zone hunting. We were actually just driving deer, regular gun season. There, he's popped as a 3.5. So, story over.
True. Yeah. Dang.
Man,
I
still remember that to the day.
I had a picture of him the day we did that drive, so I just figured. I mean, maybe I haven't told you, but that's another. That's another part of the story. Looking back, it's like all the things that go right.
Yeah.
I remember that drive to a T because I was sitting up on top and I was watching the whole thing, like 4 or 5 bucks. I didn't know they were bucks. They were a long ways away from me, but nobody was shooting at them. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, and if any listeners know some of our group, it doesn't take much for them to pop a few shots off, but other than about 120 inches of antler, I guess, held them back. That's probably about what he was, but which knowing those guys is actually still a little bit impressive. Deer drives are something we don't really do as much anymore. I know we still try to do a little bit of it, but whole different topic for a different podcast. But
thanks for joining though, Colton. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
Congrats again.
Not a problem. You bet. Thank you.
Hammer of luck, man. Take care. Let's have some beers again soon.
Yes, sir.
You bet. Sounds good. Thank you.
You bet.
You
See
bet.
you, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah. Good for him.
That's awesome.
I love that having the caller on. That was nice.
That was a live caller. That wasn't even predetermined.
Not even no script.
I was on the fly.
I texted him. I said, "You up?"
So did I.
I'm awake. All right.
I guess you got to be on your toes when you shoot a 6.5-year-old buck in Buffalo County.
Have people calling podcasts left and right.
Hells to the yeah. Well, Mitch, I know we talked about Trix a long time, which thank you guys for doing that. That was
Oh,
It was
jeez.
therapeutic.
it was therapeutic. I'm not gonna lie, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy about it, but it's just one of those things. There's never.
Mitch, see that over there?
I've had a lot of history. With
Grab
a lot
that
of
box
bucks.
over on that corner and give it to Dustin. He needs a couple tissues
Kleenex.
right now.
What is it? Oh, yeah. No, it's just
That's
when
one
I
thing,
actually
though.
had my daughter. We had Rylan and she's crying, and she's a month old, and I'm trying to sing to her, trying to get her relaxed and everything else. I'm like, what in the hell am I going to sing about? I'm making songs up about deer, and
Oh, gee.
Trix might have been in one of them
Oh,
songs. So
no.
I feel like an extra failure. But
We're taking
But
this
hey.
down the wrong path.
yeah, let's not
It's
go
a
any
sob
deeper
story.
there. But hey, no, it was good. It was cool. He got killed. One of the last big bucks I was hunting over there, I actually ended up finding after he had shed. Just picked him out based on the color of his hide, and then he had disappeared. So hey, that's 10 times better ending than what that was. So
Yeah, and obviously we can't determine if that was him, but I mean, when you come across
Yeah.
that and you see it's a shed buck and
shed buck, same
you
exact.
hadn't had any pictures of him for how long? I mean,
Oh yeah, same exact dark, real dark forehead. He had disappeared right around January. Oh yeah, and he was local as hell before that. And the next year you don't get a single picture.
Yep.
It's without question it was him. So
Yep.
sucked. Happy this one worked out.
It's
But
so cool that you can have like a buddy that like hunts close to you though, that has like same history with the deer. Like that's a big part of like why I want to like try to get a lease with like us four and shit. That'd be so much fun.
yeah.
it would be fun.
Tossing around trail cam pics, building history.
It's more fun killing a deer with it. Like you're not always gonna kill the biggest buck in the woods as far as score wise that you're gonna impress anybody with. Not that saying that's why you hunt anyways, but
Yeah.
what makes it fun, in my opinion, yeah, you get to chase deer together. You end up building a kind of a repertoire with the
Yeah.
people around you hunting him, and
Well, yeah, that was
when
the
you
same
kill
thing
him,
as
it's
same thing as
rewarding
me
as
and
heck.
Curly. I mean,
Yeah.
we had him
Big time.
big homer, and you get a
priceless. You
couple
can't-
Yep.
couple years of pictures, and it's just all over. I mean,
Yeah.
probably hundreds. I mean,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you just kill him on the home farm. You see him the day before too, and
Shoot them within
yeah,
15 minutes of
on the
sitting
brand
there
new
that one.
pond.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That
it's
was
just the
awesome.
stories. Just
Yeah.
like
I
you
can't
said.
whacked him
I
too.
can't put a number to it, but I would subtract inches for history any day. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Curly
inches for
scored,
history and age. It's
scored a solid 124. I mean,
exactly. But
Well,
yeah,
that-
what was he 4.5? And he was
he's probably at least 4.
the
You're missing a brow,
homeboy
too.
on your property, and he was
Yep.
missing a brow. Like he's
Yeah.
the one you wanted to kill. But the
Yeah, and
fact that
especially like you said. I mean, not the best genetics. I mean,
Yeah.
but when you get a little history behind it, just whack them on
Means
it.
a little more.
Yeah.
and the film, if any of you listeners haven't seen that one, I think that's on our Bluff Country Outdoors
Yes, sir.
page. That was some awesome footage. Was your brother filming that day?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that was bright and early.
We weren't here 15 minutes.
Jake really outdid himself on that footage. So that
Yeah.
was good.
Dude, nice shot. You're like, dude, what time is it?
Yeah.
Dude, I did the same thing when I shot
I got a
that-
phone call. I
there.
called you in my bed. I was just waking up. I was still living in Des Moines at the time.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I know where you kill. I was
Yeah.
I was fired up.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that was early.
Well,
It was cool. You killed him over a pond my grandpa made too.
Yeah.
First year
which is
too.
awesome. First year pond.
Yep.
dang.
Ponds in the rut, guys. If you don't have them,
Yep.
secrets out. Now a lot of it's out to the point where a lot of people have
It's overproduced now.
quite a few now, but shit, man. I
Yeah.
remember my grandpa tells stories. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago, more 15, 20 at this point now, but when you had a pond on a ridge or regardless where it was in a good area and you could get to it, access it, and hunt it on a consistent wind, you're a big buck killer.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yep. Well, today's November 1st, and me and Dustin just got back in from hunting today, and I was actually hunting over a pond, pretty much the exact scenario that he was talking about. And man, it's just awesome when you have those type of mornings that like make you like the mornings you dream about all rut, and you just see like deer everywhere coming out of the woodworks. It's like, where did you even come from?
Uh-huh.
A little snow on the ground too makes them see. You can see them so much like faster. It's it's awesome. And the leaves and the snow was crunchy, so you could hear pretty good this morning, even though I had a winter hat on and I had my gator around like over my ears too. I'm just man, I got shaken pretty good this morning after I saw that good one.
Oh, we get the little buck fever going.
I didn't get it till like after I saw him. Then I started like shaking a little bit. I was like, damn, am I really cold or am I that excited right now? No. Probably a little bit of both.
And if I were to pick, I have a couple of ponds, but being over a pond is where I probably would have wanted to be. But I was on a lease that we have where we can't put in ponds this year, so kind of hunting without them, which a little different than what I'm used to. And I'm pretty used to hunting over the water holes. That's been a consistent go-to for us. And been successful. But I didn't have a great sit this evening, whereas yesterday I sat at the same property and had an awesome sit. So it was just kind of that's the rut though.
That's this time of year. Hit or miss.
It's a love-hate relationship and kind of for me
I only
went more hate, but
I think I only saw 3 deer this last weekend.
Yeah,
I mean skunk Sunday morning. Which was weird. It was real nice and calm, and it was cold as hell this weekend. I mean,
you got to give a quick shout out to the weather we've had the last almost week already though too. It's rained
right after all that rain, and then temps just dropped.
Oh my god,
it's been great.
I don't remember it being this cold for this long for this early.
Not during the rut, no.
Yeah, we had a wind stretch. I don't know what year it was. It was in the 2015, 16, 17
I was
range.
Going to say it was definitely over a handful of years ago.
Where it was almost like, I don't know, damn near hurtful to the deer. It was like 0 degrees for like a week stretch, but which is almost overkill for. But compared to this year, compared to what it was in 21, I remember 21 it was t-shirt weather November 4th.
Yep, I remember.
And it was terrible.
I remember that was right during my playing rutcation. Yeah, and it was like 73.
Better, but
I mean it was 70s.
Still
sure went back to work.
I know,
honestly. Then you start getting into kind of more of like the lockdown. It's like, oh man,
it was dead. I remember that when you say it's t-shirt weather, you're wearing just a long sleeve up there, and you're just like, what am I doing here? I mean, it's so warm. I mean,
it doesn't even make you want to sit very long either.
No, because I remember at the front end of that rutcation that year, it was actually like decent. It was like 40s. And I think I saw, I don't know how many of the same deer, but I counted probably like 20, almost 30 deer up on the ridge that year. And then all of a sudden those warm temps came.
Yeah.
Nothing
around.
No.
God.
Yeah, it's tough.
And you like to think like during the rut that those temps wouldn't really affect it, but when it gets that warm.
Big time. Unless they find like that hot doe and everyone's after them.
It's in the perfect spot.
Hard to see,
it's
like,
just
a big amount. Yeah.
I'm with you. I was kind of in the same boat that year. Even hunting water holes, I got a water hole. I'm in the game no matter what. Which partially true. I did have a couple of good encounters in Mitch Candlesticks.
Yep.
Deer. I had him knee deep in the pond right in front of me. as a 4.5-year-old, which is cool. And so you have your opportunities, but it's no question affects it. It sucked. It was just, I don't know, just the way the deer behaved, I thought was totally different than.
It's supposed to warm up now, but it's supposed to be like kind of more around like the average. So
like
I don't
mid-40s,
think I don't think things are gonna decline as much as you think it would either.
Yeah, what was it, 40s this weekend?
Yeah.
40, 45 or so, which isn't too bad. I think the lows are still low 30s or just not quite 19 this morning.
Dude, I did not look at the weather at all this morning.
You pulled an all-dayer, didn't you?
Yeah, I wore the same things I've been wearing the last couple days, 28 degrees in the morning. I was a little cold this morning, I'm not going to lie.
And I know we got a text saying you had cold feet at noon and you still stayed in the stand.
It's hard.
You had to have been seeing deer.
Yeah.
The toes.
After that.
Toes are the worst.
Yeah. Well, today, sat all day. The most movement we had was from probably 8 to 11. And then did see a shooter around 12:50 though, which shout out to the old Wysdale's 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Because there it is, chasing a doe.
Yeah.
Mitch Stamcalber shooter too.
Yeah.
So you're talking.
He's
a good one, isn't he?
He's a cool buck. Yeah, definitely. It's funny though because that buck's been back and forth from our neighbor, Kyle. Shout out Kyle Stay. And he sent me a picture of him 2 days ago, like on his like far east side of his property. And he just showed back up again like 2 days ago. Then I got a picture this morning at like 4 a.m. of him at the spot that I went this morning. And I'm like, I'm just going to sit there all day and hope he comes back around. Never took a drink at the pond like he did in the picture, but he was around the area.
He was at the pond at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And you saw him around noon. Yeah, I would be back there tomorrow like you are, right? You
left my bow in the tree, camera arm in the tree.
Dang.
Gonna pack some sandwiches, see what happens.
The
tomorrow.
camera arm is a big one. The bow is one thing toting in, but that camera arm is a pain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a lot of self-filming this year myself, and it's anybody who's done it, it's
My
not only
backpack
hard to
weighs
do,
a
but then
lot.
you just got to remember, it's another thing you got to haul in. It's noise every time I got to ratchet that thing to the tree.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't sure if Jake was going to bring her out that long-ass hike that he has to do back there.
Well, he's got that muddy one too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm
That
impressed.
thing's heavy
I'm
as-
impressed Jake did that.
I borrowed your guys that one night, and I saw a buck I called Cam came out. And as soon as I tried to like grab the camera arm to move it, my freaking release hit it, and he like looked up at me. That's happened like 3 times now when deer came by.
You got to
Like,
get
it's
one of
so
them.
hard.
You got to get one of them click back ones.
Put it back here.
I got one like that, and
Yeah.
it's don't get me wrong. It's not I had a release that I was using for 8-10 years and
True fire.
lost it.
Yeah, I've had
I don't
the
know
same
where it
one
was.
since
I
I
was
was a
shooting
kid.
bow league.
Same.
And once it's like whatever you use is not your release. Like we've all had those things, whatever it is. It's I don't care if it's nicer or whatever. It's not mine, so
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
But this one's growing on me now, but yeah, it locks back, so I can put it to my wrist. And to be honest with you,
That's nice.
getting in and out of the stand and stuff, I don't even put it on. I've been better at.
Yeah.
The other day, I was
Forgot.
it was like I was at our end. I'm like, I saw a deer, and then
I've
kinda
done that plenty of
I was
times,
gonna do like
yeah.
a practice drawback, which is always just nice for confidence and feel. And then I'm like, Jesus, my release ain't on. And then I felt what pocket I thought it was going to be in. I wasn't in that. So I grabbed the other pocket, and sure enough, it's in there. I knew I wasn't going to forget it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, if a good buck walked in front of me there, I would have been in
He
such
would
a
have got the
panic.
pass, not because he wanted to.
It wouldn't have been good. It would have been a little bit of embarrassment. So
I have
surprised
done
I
that before
shared
too.
that story, but that's what this podcast is about, is just being
Yep. Average Joe.
Average Joes.
Yeah.
things happen.
But this morning reminded me of the morning that I shot pinchers like to the tee, because I saw pinchers. He was up. I was way up top on the bluff. No water hole on that sit, but he came by chasing a doe, and I saw him 3 different times that morning. And I thought for sure he was gonna loop back around again, but never saw him. But my cousin-in-law Marcus went and sat tonight in another stand and saw the buck that I saw today too, up on the ridge. Probably, I think he was with that same doe too. So
How far away is that from where you're at? I mean, it's probably 300, isn't it?
I'd
Yards?
say, yeah.
Good stretch.
Yep.
You feel good about going back to where you were though?
Yep.
You think he's gonna circle back, or just water hole on top? What's your gut there?
I think that water hole is a big key why I kind of want to go back up there, but
Yeah.
it's weird though, because the first like couple weeks of the season, even before the season, he was at a different pond almost like every single night, and I haven't got a picture of him there since September. Which, yeah.
Tough and odd, but yeah, you gotta hunt them where they've been. Don't go on
Yep.
old news.
There's another
Wasted a
stand
lot
that
of
we got
time
on the
doing
back
that.
side of the hill, but I don't know. I like the one up top more because I think the does bed around kind of up on top on those little benches and stuff a lot more, and he's going to cruise through and try to check those.
I think, like you saw a lot of movement today, midday. That's what's better. Pack lunch, man. I think, again, tomorrow it's
Got the
midday.
Sammy's made.
Get more than one.
You're on my grandpa's killed a lot of deer that way. It's midday on a ridge close to bedding on a water hole.
Yeah.
It's
Hopefully he comes in and takes a drink, 22 yards.
That's good filming too. Easy filming.
Yeah.
The least I've been hunting where we don't have water holes. Because we're not able to this year. Every sit, it's like I got my camera arm. I'm
Don't know
set
where to
up,
set it.
but it's like, man,
Yeah.
it's tough because you're getting them cruising by, and it's still a great spot. I'm hunting good areas, but the pond, you can kind of settle in, and if they do come and drink, as far as self filming it, it's definitely an advantage there.
Yeah.
And this year, don't get me wrong, if there was a 180-inch deer that I don't have on camera and I couldn't quite get it, I'm gonna kill the deer. I'm like a lot of you guys out there, but I want to kill a buck on camera. You killed a couple of deer on camera, you wanna kind of do that. Again.
You get the itch for it ever since.
It is. It's
even
though not killing them on camera, it takes away a little bit of the hunt for me. I mean,
what do you guys call a lot this time of year in Wisconsin?
I haven't done a whole lot. I tend to go to my grunt a little bit more than the rattle, just because I don't feel as comfortable rattling than throwing out a few grunts here and there, and I don't really call a whole lot.
I'm with you. Yeah. Blind call is hardly never. I mean, my thoughts are where we're at is, good area on paper, but with the pressure and stuff, I just feel like any deer that I want to kill, 5-6-year-old caliber, they've heard it. If they do hear it and they want to come into it, what are they gonna do? They're gonna circle downwind and they're gonna get me. And maybe it's probably a little bit overly cautious. I should probably be a little more aggressive, but
I don't know. To me, like you said, like how many times have they heard that? And it's like, I don't know. I get a little paranoid with like the sequence and like what's right and what's wrong.
You want to hunt that same stand tomorrow or maybe 2 days
and I don't want to be.
You don't want to.
I don't want to pattern myself to them. So I mean, it's like
I think that you're right though. You're gonna pattern yourself.
Like why go back to the same stand where I know I have a shooter and it's like I'm gonna rattle this night, then I'm gonna rattle the next night, and then the next night, and so I don't know. I've done a few rattles. I think maybe 2 or 3, but I just don't like rattling. Like I'd rather take out my grunt tube and grunt 3 times and then wait an hour and do another 2 or 3. And
today I had the shooter that I saw was with that doe, and then he kind of like stopped for a while and he was like looking around, and if I had my grunt call on me, that would be what I would have done, but I rattled a little bit and he kind of looked back and he's like, fuck it.
I want some pussy.
Yeah.
No. I guess who can blame him? But
one time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's
tough. It depends where you're at. If you're down in Iowa, like what Jake is right now, and Jake, he texted us this afternoon. He's like, dude, I just got here and I rattled in we talked about earlier on, probably 6-7-year-old deer to his tree. It sniffed his tree. I mean, so a little bit of where you're at, what you're doing. Time of year is big. I would say the time of year right now, it's November 1st today, but late October before, and they're first hearing it, I think is better than, maybe late rut.
Yeah, and
when they've heard it a lot more often. That year. When it's new to their ears, you might be able to get one, but
just my past experience, I feel like my rattling, I really haven't had any luck for anything. Like you said, like your blind calls, like my rattling, nothing. But like just earlier, 2 weekends ago, I did a couple grunts and I had a little bass crack come running in like a minute later. I mean, so
if you're gonna call and your like goal is to shoot like a 3.5-year-old or something like that, like I think calling you'd probably be pretty successful, but if you're trying to get that upper echelon of bucks, it's like I probably would keep those in the bag.
And there's been so many times where like you'll get out the horns and you crash them together, and then after you're like, why did I do that? Like, that sounded like shit.
That was a terrible sequence.
You feel like you just exposed yourself.
Damn, now every deer knows that I'm right here.
That sounded nothing like a fight.
They know I'm bluffing.
Just
like in the old poker game.
I mean, like, if you have your camera set on, like, video mode, too, though, you can kind of, like, tell, like, if your buck that you're after is, like, more aggressive, too.
That's a good point.
So that means
and it's weird you bring that up. The last how many years I feel like I've seen so many more younger bucks, not necessarily shooters, but, like, your 2-year-olds, your 3-year-olds.
So what's
I've seen how many just sparring, just kind of clanking the antlers together a little bit. So it's like you would think like, I could take them out and just do a nice little rattle sequence, but it's still the same thing. Every time I do it, I'm like, nah, I don't like it.
Whenever I I've done it a couple of times this year, and I kind of do it like tickling them just a little bit. Because I have that little pack rack that I use still.
I use that today too.
And
I hate it. I try to make it sound real and to really like get the sound. I have to
Loud.
slam it together to the point where I end up
Bust your
pinching my finger.
That little
and it pisses
bag
me
thing?
off.
no, it's
No,
like
it's a pack rack.
Yeah.
It's, The only thing nice about it is what its name
small.
is. It's pack rack. It's small.
Yeah.
Fit in your bag.
that's hanging on my bow hanger for tomorrow morning too.
Yeah. Good. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
If any listeners out there can comment on wherever you're listening, if you've had success calling, what state it is,
Props to you.
what you're using, time of year.
Yep.
Let us know what your strategy is.
I want to go to
help me out because
I
I've
want to go to Kansas and just rattle.
I've called in some smaller bucks, but I've never had that scenario like you see on the Outdoor Channel maybe 10 years ago where the guy smacks his whatever rattle.
Booner comes running in.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're realists here, but yeah, it does happen. So I'm interested. So comment, please. Let us know.
But so Jake's in Iowa now. Damon's in Iowa. We're gonna get him on the podcast, but maybe another night. They're sleeping early. Cole, when you heading down to Iowa?
Heading down Sunday, so next podcast, I'll be another caller in.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully with the big buck.
Hopefully have you and Jake on the pod.
Yeah, we should be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm heading down Sunday. Got a week down there, so hopefully we tag out quick because I don't need to be racking up any more hotel fees than I really need to be. Yeah. I can get back early and smash some beers with the boys. So
It'll be fun. If you kill the big one down there, and I'm using my vacation this week, so I shouldn't talk too much, but it'd be fun to even. If you kill the giant, let's hop in the truck. Let's go.
I'll be there.
I already said I'm coming back right away.
Coming back right away.
Yeah.
Just
I would
because
do this. It's one of those things. When you're getting married, you do it where your family is and where your friends are.
Exactly.
When you kill a big
Like,
buck, you want to do this
down there, it's like,
people
okay.
around, or it's easy.
Yeah. It's like, okay, Jake's down there and Damon and like Jimmy, but that's 5 of us or 4 of us. Like what?
I mean, that would be fun for a couple hours.
Yeah, but like, why not come back where you guys and then Dad and Mike and Dave and Colton and
Instead of making everybody drive.
Exactly.
4 hours.
And especially with Walker too, he's kind of on the hook of I got him already hooked. So he was a little hunter, a little 2-year-old hunter for Halloween, and already got the hunting, shoot deer. So
yes,
better not come home empty-handed. Spend a few nights out of the house.
God, I'm excited for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did he move your cameras already or no?
You got a lease in Iowa.
I got a lease, a 300-acre lease. Kind of just looks like your typical Iowa last CRP bean fields, and it's got a nice wooded ditch down through the middle. Kind of comes to like a Y, but I've had quite a few pictures on it. The last few days, there's been some bucks rolling in. No big shooters yet. There was a bigger 7-pointer on there a couple nights ago. But yeah, Kyle, he went and moved 2 of the stands. The one is right on the fence line, big old opening in it. So there's just cattle path coming across in there, and found another one in the ditch that he moved it to. So I guess we'll see. He kind of told me don't get
discouraged.
Don't get discouraged by the cameras, because he said when he rolled out there was probably 30 deer out in the bean field. So we'll temper the expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when we.
It's crazy about Iowa though too. You'll sit in a spot. You're like, I'm not gonna see shit here. Why am I even sitting here? And all of a sudden,
you're gonna put me
deer
here
all over.
Yeah.
And I think I might actually bring Jake's decoy a little bit, because all that grass down there.
You should.
That's a great idea.
I think I'm gonna bring his decoy, and like Kyle said, the one spot is just gonna be an awesome morning spot. So if I could get that decoy set up 20, 25 yards up into that CRP right on that fence line at that gap.
Yeah.
Maybe try that little wild rattle sequence a little bit.
Start thrashing
everything
around you.
Yep. So
have you used a decoy a lot?
I've never used a decoy.
Ever?
Nope.
I have when I was young. It's been a few years. And I actually I texted just a buddy of mine, Matt, this week and said, hey, you got that decoy still, just in case, because the lease we've got, it's more open. And I'm, there's a lot of spots where you're going to see a lot of deer. Are they going to come within bow range? That's a different story. So, hey, decoy's the number.
You got to think about if the does are going to get there first too, though, because they're
and you got to think of what you're going to use. Doe or a buck. I mean, my little bit of experience, I've had better luck with a buck.
Yep.
If you find a dominant buck and that decoy's in his area, boom, you got him. But it's one of those things. It's tough. It can mess you up too. But
yeah, we'll see.
Change the topic a little bit here, but on your Iowa story, I'm curious. I know Jake is hunting public this year. We've shed hunted some public. We've had some luck. We've had some bad luck. We've had some good luck. A little in between. You've learned some of it. Are you planning on? I mean, say you're not on a big buck on your lease. How long are you gonna give it? And Jake's, tonight he hunted one night of public.
Yep.
I know he had a pretty nice night. Are you gonna give it a couple of nights, a week? I know you invested some money, so it's hard to throw it away. But at the same time, you got one tag. Hey, I gotta go get it. Where are you at on that?
Yeah, and I've thought about that. So like, I'll head down Sunday afternoon, get there Sunday night, and start hunting Monday. And I kind of told myself, come like Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if it's kind of slow and whatnot, to maybe just take a drive. There's some public nearby, probably a couple miles, that Rathman.
Yeah, I like some of that stuff.
So we'll maybe go and do that. But like you said, you get a lease for a reason, and it's might be a little tough to just kind of bail out on it. But like I told Jake, probably not going to hold out for no 180 or anything like that. I don't need to wait around and wait. Especially, like the public, like you said, Jake, he saw one tonight right away, first sitting. It's not a 180, but it's a mature deer. But I don't really need to kind of delay things. And so it'll be, like you said, it'll be a little tough decision, but
whatever your heart decides.
It's tough. It's what you want to do. But my little experience down there, I went to school down there, hunted for 3 years, and I've actually tried public and I tried some private too. And I actually wish I would have pushed public a little bit more. But when I did go down there, it's really tough. You deal with what everybody deals with. You deal with people. You deal with vehicles, 2 vehicles parked in the spot where you wanted to go. So it's like, well, I had the spot scouted out, and you go and you show up and there's 2 vehicles. You wonder how many other people have scouted that same spot out. Yep. It's not hard to find a pinch point on a map. It's not hard to,
Well, and I think that's kind of what I told.
It just takes so much time.
And that's what I told myself and even Kyle, like that piece I did. It's just one big funnel from property to property. So like, you never know come rut time what's going to cruise through there, and that's basically where they're going to go. Yeah, you can go up top through the bean fields, but if you want a buck to use the cover, they're going to go right by you.
Where the does are probably bedded.
But I told myself I'm not holding out for no booner, because back here, if I see a 150, that thing's it's getting an arrow.
It's toast.
So
you see one, right away, you're like, oh, shooter.
Yeah, and it's the same back here. When you see a buck and all of a sudden you get a little worked up for it.
Your heart drops right away. You say, okay.
Might be shooting this thing.
Yeah.
You have it both ways. Sometimes there's such a fine line. Sometimes the difference in size of the deer aren't that much, but I've had the same thing. There's deer where you see them, even this year, a little bit, the one shooter I did see, you see a deer, and sometimes the first thing you do is kind of just grab your camera, get footage, and then you see one you're like, it's it. You grab your bow first.
Yep.
It's what is it and what's important to you, but it doesn't take you long. Everybody's been there.
First thing I do, binocs.
Oh yeah,
shooter. Bow.
Yep.
Normally camera first, depends how far out he is.
You're pretty driven with the camera, so I'll give you that. But no, it'll be interesting for you. But if Jake's on big deer and it's big enough area, public down there, you gotta go with the MR. I think help. My advice to you, a little bit. I've done it. Which have I killed nothing? No, but maybe I know. Maybe I've learned something from not killing anything. Is don't be afraid to abandon your spot you paid for to maybe go into some public, because a good buddy of mine, an old roommate, he had killed he's got 2 bigger deer than I've got on my wall total.
Yep.
And I've got a couple 160. So
Play it
just
by
on
ear,
just
see what
on the
happens.
just on the public, see what happens. Stay aggressive. Call.
Yeah, that's what I
use.
I was talking to myself
You can't
the
wear
other
out a
day.
spot down there. You got so many
Exactly.
of them.
Yeah.
You
So
go
and
get
that
'em.
300 down there hunts. It hunts like double the size just because of the grass and the bean field. It seems way bigger than 300 acres. So, and I was telling my dad that the other day, like what you said with calling, like not going to go down there and just sit there and wait. Like, gotta get a little aggressive. And I mean, I know we were just talking about rattling and getting all uncomfortable with it, but
That was a different state.
yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about the home farm here. And
Yeah.
so,
You got a tag for the first time in 5 years,
Yeah.
and they're more resilient to come in.
yeah. So,
Yeah, go get it.
and you'd think, I mean, if he saw that many deer, I mean, if there's that many does, I mean, you got to assume something's going to go cruising through and checking for a hot doe. And
Big
so,
So, a little bit on the Iowa topic. I know you and Jake are obviously brothers. How close of brothers are you? If he sees a 200-incher down there, is he going to tell you where he is and where he's at?
well, the good thing is I know where his stand is at.
So, are you, if he does, are you going to go hang 50 yards from it, maybe?
I don't know. I don't need to overstep my boundaries, but maybe I just
Public-
won't. Maybe I just
public
won't
land-
tell him.
Just say, hey, it's public land, tough shit, bud.
He'll be like, "Hey, Cole, what are you seeing on the lease?"
Yeah.
I'm actually on your public right now.
I kind of like that he got out there during like the weekday
Yeah.
compared to the
it's
weekend.
a good start for him, and he had a nice sit
Oh,
today.
yeah. I wonder how many
Wednesday,
cars
yeah.
like he's gonna see all week.
It's hit or miss, man.
That's kind
This weekend is going to be about as bad as it gets. It's worse than shotgun. I've been down
yeah.
in that area, shotgun season, and it wasn't as bad as I had expected. I've been down in there in the rut, and it is worse. There's vehicles. It's tough hunting. Public hunting in Iowa is. There's good deer there, but man, it's not. You're going to deal with people. It's tough. It's not a.
We'll see how Jake responds to that too.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get
Just-
updates
just
today when I'm
knowing-
in the stand.
Just
man,
knowing
saw a
Jake.
good one.
Yeah.
So he had a good day there, and
2 hours.
he's
pretty much.
He's
Yeah.
kind of maybe he got spoiled a little bit. It's possible.
TBD.
Or like you said, TBD. Maybe he's in a killer spot and he's gonna make it happen.
Yep.
But
But he's not going in the same spot.
No, I'm guessing he's going to go way in the back now.
same unit though, same unit,
Yep.
same area.
Yeah.
Which we will not give on the podcast. But
Wow, he's the first one to say that too. Send coordinates after.
Yeah.
I might be hunting there next year. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, sweet November is here.
it's here, man. We're excited. Haven't got anything on the ground yet. Haven't had encounters.
Yep.
You got plenty of time.
Same as every year. Had a few deer die already. I know that we were one after we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
A couple of 3-year-olds did get killed that we were hoping to live, but hey, that's life, and we're
It's Wisconsin.
We're
hunting.
still fighting and fighting the good fight, and I don't know,
keep grinding.
morale's still high. I know there's a couple still out there.
Yeah,
and,
you got time to sit and stand.
Yep.
and this is the time of year, even if you don't have one, hey, you just getting out there gives you an opportunity and
Yeah.
a chance. So
Yeah,
fun
you
to watch 'em.
never know. It was like that buck I was showing you earlier. I mean,
Yep.
didn't have any pictures. All of a sudden, what was it? What did I tell you? November 3rd.
yeah,
Yep.
All of a
Showed
sudden,
up
boom,
randomly.
one picture of this giant, and
then gone, right?
then gone again. Comes
November
back after
28th.
gun season, so you never know. I
He
mean,
could have been just over the hill,
only
a half mile away.
He was
Yeah.
only a mile away.
mean,
That's
it's
where we
only-
suspect he was killed this year.
Yeah,
which
that's
he was a
what I mean.
mega giant.
but yeah, never know. So yeah, you got to keep grinding. I mean, it's tough not to get discouraged with
Yeah.
trail cam pictures and whatnot.
That's
but
true. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
become way too dependent on him.
The more and more I go out, the more I say, fuck them this time of year.
I hate
'Cause
him.
the more, well, the
too
weather's
good.
been really good lately.
Yep.
But I've been seeing like a lot of good, like 3.5-year-olds. Like it's been pretty freaking good so far. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's been
Tomorrow
awesome.
morning's gonna be good.
Yep.
So that is in about what do we it's been late tonight, so
Yep.
5-6 hours we'll be up hitting the woods.
Yep.
So
Maybe another all day sit. We'll see. But good luck out there, everybody, and stay safe.
thanks for listening.